Before we start working with incidents in Mission Control, let's take a look at how incidents are triggered and how you can manually trigger an incident. When an incident is created on the system, Mission Control can be told to look for specific triggering events. Like if we're looking for an intruder in a secure room, we can program Mission Control to look for an event where the door to the room is forced open and then the camera in the room detects motion. If both of these events happen in that order and within a time range we set, Mission Control will create an incident and place a pin on the map where the incident originated. This would be the door to the room in our example. We can also tell Mission Control that we would like people to be able to trigger the incident manually as well, in case the door is not forced open or the camera view has been obscured. We have a switch in the incident configuration to allow users to trigger incidents manually. There are several ways to manually trigger an incident. The easiest way is to right-click on the map and choose Trigger Incident from the pop-up menu. You can do this on any empty space on the map and it will put the pin right where you clicked, or you can click on an object on the map and it will place the pin on the object. When you do this, the map or the object you clicked on will be considered the location or source of the incident. For example, if I right-click on a camera and trigger a camera offline incident, the camera I right-clicked on will show up as the location in the incident list and details. If you don't want to find the object on the map, or the incident has no location to associate with it, you can click on the Trigger Incident button on the top left side of the incident monitoring task. We're going to be talking a lot about physical security in our examples, but Mission Control can be configured to help respond to many different kinds of situations. For example, if you have a set of maintenance tasks that you need to do on the system every week, and these need to be tracked, you can have an incident type created that has all the tasks listed as procedure steps. That way you'll know which ones have been done, when they were completed, and you won't forget any of the tasks. They don't have a physical location, but you could still manually trigger the maintenance tasks incident every week when you start to work on it. You can also trigger an incident from the area view in the monitoring task. Just right-click on an entity like a camera or a door and choose Trigger Incident. In case you know something is happening near one of the entities but is not associated with it, you can right-click on the entity, choose the Locate Me function, and right-click on the pop-up menu that comes up to trigger an incident at a spot near the entity. The pop-up map won't show the incidents on them, but if you go back to your incident monitoring task, you will now see the new incident and the pin in the right place. Once you've clicked on Trigger Incident, you'll get a window where you can choose an incident from the list, type in a comment to include in the latest activity, and view or change the location. The only incidents that will show up in this list are the ones that have the manual trigger option enabled to keep it from being cluttered and hard to find the incident that you're looking for. Additionally, if a category doesn't have any manually triggerable incidents in it, the category will be hidden as well. In order to work on an incident that you're looking at on the map or in the incident list, you'll need to be the owner of the incident. Let's take a look at a few things we can do to modify ownership of an incident. The first thing to keep in mind is that every incident can only have one owner at a time. This is to prevent multiple people from trying to complete the same procedure step. An operator or user can be the owner of multiple incidents at the same time, but that person will be the only owner of those incidents. Mission Control is designed to help operators collaborate with each other while working on incidents, so an incident could have multiple people working on it from start to finish, but only one of them would be the owner at any given time. If you take a look at the incident list or the details pane with an incident selected, you'll notice you have an owner, a list of recipients, and a field to see who is monitoring the incident. The owner is the person working on the incident right now. The recipients are the people who can view the incident in their own incident monitoring tasks, and the people monitoring the incident are the ones who are looking at the incident details but are not the owner and cannot modify it. The monitoring list is helpful if you have multiple team members in the same room who are looking at working on an incident, as you can just talk to each other to decide who will take ownership. To take ownership of an incident, click on the menu button on the bottom of the details pane, right-click on the incident in the list, or right-click on the pin on the map and choose Take Ownership. Mission Control is also smart enough to know that if you start working on the incident, it will automatically make you the owner if it doesn't currently have one. Changing the state to in progress or completing a procedure step will make you the owner of that incident. Releasing ownership is done in the same way, from the menu or right-clicking on the incident in the list or on the map. If someone forgets to release ownership of an incident that is still active and needs to be worked on, some operators may have the option to release ownership of an incident or take it over themselves. This is a specialized privilege and may not be granted to everyone, but the option is there for selected users so an incident is never left in a locked state and unusable. If you have access to these functions, you'll find them in the same menu as the taking and releasing ownership actions. We talked about recipients before, and this is also something that is possible to modify for an incident. There are two ways to change the recipient list: forwarding and transferring. If you forward an incident, the current list of recipients remains unmodified, but the people you forward it to will now be able to see the incident in their incident lists. Transferring an incident will also make the incident available to another group of people, only the difference here is that the original list of recipients is removed, and only the new recipients will see it. If you'd like to be polite about it, there's an Ask for Consent option, which will give the new recipients a pop-up box asking one of them to approve the incident transfer. In case nobody approves the transfer in 15 seconds, the incident returns to the original recipients, and you are free to yell, curse, or throw something at whoever you need to at that point. Just a note here that the person who approves the transfer is not automatically made the owner. They're only saying that someone on the new list of recipients will handle the incident. Transfer and forwarding incidents can be done from the same incident menu that we've been using for the other actions, but it can also be programmed to be done automatically by your administrators. When you're looking at incidents in the list, you can tell what is happening in the incident by looking at the state. The default states for an incident are new, in progress, on hold, resolved, and closed. These are the most common ones, but custom states may have been added by your administrator. When an incident is first created, either triggered automatically by the system or manually by an operator, it's in a new state, meaning nobody has touched it yet. If an operator is working on an incident, they will typically have it in the in progress state. Selecting on hold will ask how long you intend on keeping the incident on hold for, at which point it would go back to in progress. The resolved state means that work on the incident is done, the only thing left is to review the incident in case any additional information needs to be added. Once you're sure everything has been completed for the incident, you can change the state to closed. This removes the incident from the list and map, and you can only see the incident from the incident report task. The modifications you can make to a closed incident are very limited, which is why the resolved state is used to review if anything needs to be done. To change the state of an incident, click on the menu button on the bottom of the Details pane and hover over the Change State to menu item. This can be done by right-clicking on the incident on the map or in the list as well. The Change State menu will expand to show the available state changes. Not all state changes are logical, and it will not allow certain ones based on the type of state or who is trying to change it. You can also use the Quick State Change button next to the menu button at the bottom of the Details pane to advance the state in the next logical progression. It will go from new to in progress to resolved and finally to closed. If you put something on hold, it will give you a quick state change back to in progress. Taking a look at the top of the Incident Details pane, we have the Overview section. This is where you can see things like the state of the incident, owner, priority, and basically a lot of the information that is represented in the list. You can change a few things in the overview to reflect what's happening in the incident, or to give more information to anyone reviewing it. To make changes to the overview, you must first be the owner of the incident. Expand the overview by clicking on the name of the section or the greater than symbol on the right. If your mouse pointer is in the Details pane, you will see a pencil icon showing up next to the name and ID of the incident. Click on this icon to edit the incident. There are two fields that can be modified here, the description and the external ID. Both of these are text fields, so you can type anything you want in there. Typically, the external ID is used to link or identify the incident with a case or report on another system. For example, if you need to call the police to report something that happened on site, and they give you a case number from their CAD system, you can type it in the external ID. Both of these fields are searchable, so if you need to release ownership of this incident at the end of your shift, and the police call back, one of your coworkers will be able to find the incident based on the case number the officer gives them. You can also edit the priority of the incident from here. Let's say you have an incident that's reported as a toxic chemical spill, but when the responding person gets on site and discovers it's only Mountain Dew, you could drop your incident priority from critical down to low. When the priority is not set to the default that was defined for this incident, you will see an arrow next to the priority in the overview, the incident list, and the pin pop-up. If the priority is higher than the default set when the incident was triggered, it will show an up arrow. If it's lower, it will be a down arrow. This is not showing the trend, but simply if it is higher or lower than what you're expecting for this type of incident. For example, if an incident starts out at a medium priority, but then things escalate quickly, they really get out of hand fast, we can raise the incident up to a critical priority. Next to the incident priority, we'll now see an up arrow. Once the situation starts to calm down, we can go back to the overview and drop the priority to high. The arrow next to the priority will still be an up arrow even though we just lowered the priority, because the default for this incident type is medium, and high is still above medium in the priority hierarchy. If you make any changes in here, don't forget to hit the Save button on top or hit Cancel to undo your changes. Click on the Overview header again, or the less than symbol to go back to viewing all the incident details in the pane. Let's take a look at how Mission Control can help you respond to an incident's procedure steps. There are two types of procedure lists that can be used when creating an incident: simple and dynamic. A simple procedure list is like a checklist you'd find on a traditional printed procedure, except with a bit more help. In simple procedure lists, you'll see all the steps listed in the Procedures section of the Details pane. Depending on how it was set up, you may be able to do the steps in any order. If all the steps below the one you are working on are grayed out, your administrator set this one up to be done in order. Once you have completed the activities for the procedure step, click on the box to put a check mark in it. Sometimes more information is needed to complete a step, so you may see a comment box pop up when you click the box. Enter the information requested in the step and hit OK. Hitting Cancel will not mark the step as completed. If you have the permission to do so, moving the mouse over a step may bring up a Skip button. This depends on the type of incident or situation you're working on. Clicking on the Skip button will ask for the reason you are skipping the step. For example, if the step asks you to contact the nearest security team, but you're already talking to them, you can skip the step, and in the comment write the member of the security team that you're in contact with. Sometimes a step will have a specific document associated with it. You'll see a little page icon next to the step if it has one. Clicking on this will bring up the document on your workstation. If you expand the Procedure section, you'll be able to see the time it has taken for each step to be completed. There's a second type of procedure list you might see, and these are called dynamic procedures, because they adapt and change depending on the responses you choose in the steps. When you first start working on a new incident that uses dynamic procedures, you're going to see a Start button in the Procedures section of the Details pane. Click on it to start working on the first step. If the incident is not in progress or owned by you, clicking the Start will make you the owner and put the state in progress. When you're looking at a dynamic procedure step, you'll have the step name on top, the step instruction below that, and a box for comments if more information is requested for that step. On the bottom, you'll have the completion options for that step. For a very simple procedure step with no options, you just need to click on the Done button when you're finished. Simple steps can also have a Skip button if that step has been configured with one. Procedure steps that have multiple responses to complete the step cannot have a Skip button, since Mission Control won't know what to display for the next step. Steps can also have yes or no answers, or a list of completely custom responses that have been configured. For example, if we want to know if the intruder took anything, we would have a yes or no question asked as one of the procedure steps. We could also ask how the intruder got into the building and be very specific about the responses. Did they use a stolen access card, break a window, sneak in through the air ducts? Depending on what we choose as an answer, we'll be presented with different steps following this one. If I see that they used a stolen access card, my next procedure step would tell me to deactivate that card so the intruder can't use it anymore. There are a few other options in the dynamic procedure section. If you messed up a step, you can back up using the arrow here. In case there are any documents or web links that are helpful for this particular step, you'll see how many are available, and you can click on it to bring up the documents. If you expand the procedure section while working on a dynamic procedure, you can see the time it took for this step, and the total time that has elapsed since starting to work on the procedures. Note that backing up a step does not erase the original that you completed, so the timing for it is still there. In case you really went the wrong way down the rabbit hole and you realize that you messed up your answer on step 2, but you're on step 15 now, you can reset the whole thing from the expanded view. Once you click the reset button on the top right, you'll have to give a reason for resetting the whole procedure list, and it will return you to the first step. This feature is optional and may not be available for everyone. Note as well that the reset also does not clear the history records for the procedure responses. One of the benefits of using mission control is it helps with collaboration within a team. Multiple people can work on an incident at different times and resolve the situation. But how can you collaborate with your team members if nobody knows what the previous person did? This is where the latest activities section of the details pane comes in. Every time someone completes a procedure step, takes or releases ownership, changes the incident priority, and makes any other change to the incident, it's recorded here. What was changed is listed here, as well as who did it and what time it was completed. If a comment is required for a procedure step, that comment is included in the step details. So if my coworker initially handled this incident and checked the cameras to see what the intruder looked like, I don't need to repeat that step when I take it over because I can see their comment in the step completion activity. You can also add comments directly to the latest activity, which are independent of the comments in the procedure steps. For example, if I'm working on an incident where a window was damaged, I will report this to the facility's maintenance team and they'll send somebody out. Talking to the person who went to fix the window, they said they need at least 30 minutes to fix it, so I put the incident in the on-hold state for 30 minutes. If the person calls back and says they need another 15, I can just add a comment in the incident to let anyone know who is looking at it or working on it next about the new ETA. These comments can be edited, but the original will still be there in case any follow-up is needed. Expanding the latest activity section, you'll see the comment button is now just a field above the activity list. You can also filter what you're seeing in the latest activity using the funnel icon right here. In case you don't really need to see who's been monitoring the incident and it's cluttering up your view of the latest activity, you can click on the funnel and uncheck the monitoring option. Now you'll only see the information that has been selected in the filter. You can tell if you have a filter applied by the white funnel icon. Even if you collapse the latest activity and go back to the main details view, the indicator will still be there. If you want to change the filters, you'll still need to expand the latest activity section and click on the blue funnel again. The white one is only an indicator that is not using the default settings. Once you set up a filter in the latest activity, this will be active for any incident you click on after that. Moving on down the details pane, the next section we want to look at are the related incidents. This isn't going to tell you anything from the summary view of the details pane, so you'll have to expand it to get more information. Once again, you can just click on the greater than symbol or click on the section name to expand it. The top two lists of this section are to help you find a similar incident, and the third list is for you to manually link an incident to this one. In the top two lists, first select the time range you want to see the incidents from. This can be from the last hour all the way up to any incidents triggered within the last month. Note that these lists are only showing you active incidents. Any closed incidents will have to be viewed in the Incident Report task. The first list is showing you any incidents that have the same source as the one you're working on. For example, if this is an intruder incident where somebody forced open the front door, that door would be a source for this incident. In my list of incidents at the source, I would also see a maintenance incident that was triggered for the front door, and a glass damaged incident for the front door as well. The list of similar incidents below that will show you the opposite of the previous list. The incident type will be the same, but the source of the incident can be different. This is a way of seeing all active incidents of the same type, no matter what triggered it. If you have too many entries in the list, it will show you the incidents in groups of 10, and you can go forward and backward through the groups using the arrows below the list. In case you have a lot of incidents currently active, these lists can help you quickly find the one you want to work on based on either the source or the type of the incident. Let's say we're working in our operations center, and one of our maintenance team calls in that they went out and fixed the broken glass that we reported. We may have a few glass damage incidents open, so we just need to click on the first one we see in the list or on the map, and then go to our similar incidents list to see the others. If we hover on the incident in the list, we will have a shortcut to open the incident in the monitoring task, where we can verify the incident details and find the particular incident the maintenance person was working on. The third list in the related incident section is where you can link this incident to any other incident in the system. The purpose of this is so anyone looking at the incident knows that there may be more information related to what was happening in the incident you link it to. Just click on the Add an Item icon and type in the incident ID. This can be an active or closed incident, in which case you may need to look up the incident ID in the incident report task first. This is a bidirectional link, so the incident you are connecting this one to will now show a linked incident to the one you are working on as well. For example, if we have an intruder incident and our intruder sets a fire to try to distract the security team, we would have two separate incidents and two incident IDs. While working on the intruder incident, I see the intruder start the fire in one of the cameras and see that we have a fire incident on the map for that location. I can highlight that incident to get the incident ID, and then click on the plus icon and type the incident ID in as a linked incident. If we look at the fire incident, we'll now see that the intruder incident is linked there as well. In case you link the wrong incident or realize that they're not related, you can highlight the incident and click Delete to remove it. This only applies to the third list in the related incident section. The next section in the Incident Details pane is for seeing and linking any entities that are related to this incident. There's nothing to see from the summary page, so let's expand this section. There are two lists here, showing the source entities and the attached entities. The source entities are any entities that were used as triggers, or that the entity was triggered on. For example, in our intruder scenario, the first event that happened was a door forced open on the facility entrance, so we'll see the facility entrance door in the list. The second event that was part of the incident was motion from the camera facing that area, which is our front door camera. This camera will be included in the source entities as well. If you manually trigger an incident on the map, you will see the map area as the source entity. Now, in case one camera was included because it caused the event that triggered the incident, but you know several more have footage of the intruder, you can include those cameras in the attached entities. Just click the Add an Item icon and select the cameras from the list. You can use the filter or search to find the cameras you're looking for, and use the Shift or Control keys to select a range or multiple individual entities. In this example, we're adding cameras, but you can add any kind of entity you want in here. The last section in the Details pane is for any documents that may be generally helpful to anyone responding to the incident. Whereas you can have specific documents included as part of a procedure step, this section is for anything that is available to you while working on the incident. From the Details summary, the Document section shows you the related documents you could use and any links that have been added previously. If nobody has added any links, you will not see the attached links list. In case you want to add more links or remove one that's there, click on the greater than symbol or the document's header to expand this section. If you're working on the incident and find a website with helpful information, or you want to link to a file on a network drive, you can add it by clicking on the Add Link icon on the right. This will not add this link to the pool of all documents, only link it for this one particular incident. You can click on the X next to a link to remove it from this list as well. Just a note that when documents are added to the system, the administrators can select who can see a document, when it is available, and for what location or incident type.